Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on, I put my feet up, and we just sing along. And I can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? Forever. 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 I watch you as you sleep. You don't know I'm looking. With you everything's complete. Do you know how much I love you? I put your favorite song on, just to wake you up. When I dance around, I can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? Forever. 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 Loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm drive. Do you know I'm looking?
If I had a boat, I would sail out, take every brother and sister of mine. We'd roll in the sunshine and sleep when it's dark, hoping to find somewhere we can call home. But it's black, yeah, it's black. Oh, the water's black, 'cause it's black, it's all black, black water. If I had some time, I'd be biting it well, but my house is on fire, there's no one left to tell. Just take what is given, the doors have been sealed. Just breathe in the poison and hope God is real. I'll pick you violet flowers if I get there faster than you. I'll pick you violet flowers if I get there faster than you. 'Cause it's mad, yeah, it's mad. Oh, the home's mad. 'Cause it's mad, it's all mad. It's mad out there. 'Cause it's black, yeah, it's black. Oh, the water's black. 'Cause it's black, it's all black, black water. Cause it's black, yeah, it's black. Oh, the water's black. Cause it's black, it's all black. Black water, oh, black water. Cause it's black, yeah, it's black. Oh, the water's black. Cause it's black, it's all black. Black water. This is as good a day as any to start the rebuilding of life. The roads that lay open are many when the old one's gone under the knife. And I can feel the sun on my skin, from within. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today is a good day to live. This morning has so clear a light as any to see the horizon and the fire. Excuses were 2 for a penny, but they've all gone out the window of this car. And when I feel the wind on my face, all that ever was is a wreck. felt good.